Smart 24, driving business.
It is exactly 3 minutes past 8 a.m. and this is Smart Means Business. I'm Andrew Abarije, your host this morning on the 2nd of January 2025. Now here on Smart Means Business, it's always the norm and culture. We believe in inspiration. You kickstart off your day with an inspired quote from a favorite entrepreneur, business person, or any person that is into the career that you aspire to be into. And it's very vital when you kickstart off with this, it will give you the direction, and since it's the beginning of the year and perhaps you need to find something that has to make something different in your life, in your career life, business life, and so many aspects, social and economic. Well, at this point in time, let's get inspired. Hey, you close the door. Well, in two other stories, UEDCL gets a license and it's going to be replacing Omeme. And I think this is one of those stories that are really on the talk of every person as we speak. Now, Omeme is definitely going to be winding up operations in March this very year. Now, the handover comes with months after the impending transfer of the distribution network from Omeme Limited, whose concession will naturally expire on 31st of March 2025. Now, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, that is Honorable Dr. Ruth Nakabira Sentamu, officially handed over the license for electricity distribution, that is to the Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited, and that was on Tuesday. Now, the handover comes months after that is months to the impending transfer of the distribution network from Omeme Limited, whose concession will naturally expire on the 31st of March 2025. Now, during a briefing, Dr. Nakabira assured Ugandans of a seamless transition. This was in the electricity sector, and now she reiterated the government's commitment in ensuring continuity in electricity services while prioritizing affordability, access and quality at the same time. Now, according to what she said in the actual words, she said that the government remains fully committed to the continuity of electricity services, existing tariff packages as approved by Electricity Regulatory Authority, and they say it will remain operational, she stated. Now, the license handover follows the ERA's approval of UEDCL's applications and the government's decision not to renew the expiring private distribution concessions. Now, she mentioned the measures that is to replace. She mentioned the measures to replace this company. Let me see. Okay. Now, the minister mentioned the measures in place to ensure the smooth transition, that is including retaining staff from Omeme Limited and UEDCL. Yeah, so the staff will actually be retained. Now, over 2,700 employment opportunities have been secured under the framework designed to protect the workforce while maintaining high standards of service delivery. Now, over 98% of staff were retained in the previous transitions, and this underscores their commitment to protecting the workforce and ensuring uninterrupted electricity supply, should definitely noted. Now, the ERA and the Ministry of Energy, in collaboration with UEDCL, have promised a transparent process that is to safeguard staff interests. Now, both agencies aim to integrate skilled personnel from OMEME and UEDCL to form a cohesive team capable of achieving the country's energy goals. Now, the minister commended OMEME Limited for its achievements during its 20-year concession, including advancements in revenue collection, loss reduction, and infrastructure development. Of course, she thanked the board, management, and staff of OMEME for their dedicated service to the people of Uganda. Now, ERA CEO, that is Engineer Ziria Tivalwa Wako, echoed similar sentiments, noting that OMEME's expertise has positioned Uganda as a leading electricity supply industry that is on the continent. Now, the handover aligns with Uganda's Vision 2040 and the National Electrification Strategy that is aiming for universal electricity access by 2030 through on-grid and off-grid solutions. It's part of these projects such as electricity access, a scale-up project are set to play a critical role in achieving these targets. So that is the transition that is happening there. Now, away from that, still the rise of the digital economy, one of the key strategies that, of course, Uganda is looking up to if we are to achieve 2040, having a digitized economy, incorporating digital solutions within the economy. Now, the rise of digital economy, borderless revolution is shaping the future of business. This is according to some of the insights that we can see. Now, the digital economy is a transformative force redefining how businesses operate, governments collect revenue, and how individuals interact with the markets. Now, it leverages technologies such as the internet, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, blockchain, e-commerce to create the seamless, or what they call a globalized and highly efficient business environments. Now, what started as a small ripple in the late 20th century with advent of the internet and personal computing has now become a tsunami of change. Now, of course, the digital economy has given a rise to trillion-dollar tech giants that has spurred the creation of the new industries and broken down the barriers to global trade. However, its growth also poses challenges, especially in taxation, talking about regulation and equitable access. Now talking about Ugandan aspect, the regulation, most especially in the startup scene, for the digital related startups, there is a fear by most of the developers when it comes to intellectual property. They're not sure whether their innovations, where their startups are actually safe from the public, because most of them, remember, don't have the funds. And given the funding winner of startups in Africa, as we speak at this point, it's quite very tricky. I don't have the money. I share my idea. Then somebody with the money comes and takes over that idea. So that's how many of the startups have actually lost it out in Uganda, because the regulation aspect has been sorted out to be a little bit lacking. Not that it's not really functional, but perhaps the implementation may not be quite effective to protect the citizens that are participating into this sector. Now, the digital economy, as we know, offers numerous advantages, which makes it a key driver of the modern development. Now, it enables global connectivity, allowing businesses to interact seamlessly with the clients, suppliers, and stakeholders across the borders. Now, automation and digital tools enhance efficiency by streamlining the operations, reducing the costs, and boosting productivity. Now, as a catalyst of innovation, the digital economy lowers entry barriers for startups, fostering entrepreneurship and creativity. Now, consumers benefit from increased choices, personalized services, and competitive pricing, while digital transformation significantly contributes to economic growth, boosting gross domestic product in advanced and emerging markets alike. But however, the digital economy also presents challenges, that require the attention, and of course the taxation issues arise as the non-resident companies often escape paying taxes in the countries where they actually generate the substantial income, leading to the inequalities that we see happening, and also weaknesses in the regulation models. Now, the digital divide is still remaining a huge concern, according to a report, particularly in developing nations where inadequate infrastructure, limited digital literacy, and high connectivity costs hinder participation. Now, of course, I cannot talk about this and decline, and I don't talk about artificial intelligence. Now, there is a fear about the digitization bid, and this is in line with loss of jobs. But what I can say, losing jobs is not yet for the developing countries. According to the analysts, according to the statistics, they reveal that countries which already established in the digital sectors, they are likely to be affected, of course, but there are opportunities that the digital industry or the artificial intelligence is actually going to introduce. And in developed countries, those opportunities are going to be very evident. Now, for developing nations, will be affected heavily. That is the truth. But unfortunately, there will be less opportunities that will be picked up as a result of the digitization. That is also another fact that we need to look into as we perceive this. Okay. Now, we say that the digital divide remains a concern, particularly in developing nations where adequate infrastructure, of course, limited digital literacy and high connectivity costs are hindering the participation. Now, increased reliance on data heightens risks to privacy and security, of course, exposing the individuals and the organizations to the cyber threats. We see now, additionally, the market concentration allows a few dominant players to control the significant portions of the digital economy, suppressing competition and innovation. Now, traditional taxation systems were built for economies centered on physical presence. Now, this framework is they believe it's inadequate for taxing digital businesses that derive significant profits from jurisdictions where they have no physical footprint. Now, the OECD has spearheaded efforts to address this through its base erosion and profit shifting framework. Now, according to Article 5 of the OECD, that is Model Tax Convention, which defines the permanent establishment was historically tied to the physical presence. However, the BEP Section 1 has introduced the concept of significant economic presence, according to my report here. And now, of course, emphasizing the need to tax income generated in jurisdiction regardless of the physical presence. Yeah, interesting. As long as you are there, it's not about having it. As long as you operate there, you definitely you stand to be that. Now, of course, we pick examples from Kenya, our neighbors. Now, Kenya exemplifies what I'm trying to put here. There is a proactive approach of taxing the digital economy. Now, last year, on 11th December, that was 2024, President William Ruto actually assented to the Tax Laws Amendment Bill for the 2024. Now, the Tax Laws Act, gazetted on December 13th, 2024, came into effect, and that was December 27th, 2024. So, what is the lesson for Uganda? It's just we're trying to benchmark from our neighbors and seeing how exactly they actually are moving about with this. Now, a significant highlight of this act is the introduction of an SEP tax. Now, the non-resident persons deriving income from businesses conducted through digital marketplaces in Kenya will now be taxed. Now, this measure aims to level the playing field, ensuring that multinational tech giants do contribute fairly to the country's economy. So that's how Kenya is actually doing that. They do tax these digital services regardless of whether they have a physical presence in Kenya or not. As long as the citizens are using your services, you're making a lot of money. So imagine how much money is Uganda losing from other media platforms, talking about X, talking about WhatsApp, talking about Facebook, so many more. But they are operating. Of course, they don't have a physical presence here, but they are operating. So there is a lot of revenue. And actually, there are discussions still in line with that. Countries like Kenya are already doing that, and they're generating a lot of revenue. Let me even not go so far. Let's take a look at people that are onto the streaming platforms. Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, the movie fans. But do these companies really pay the taxes? But Ugandans really subscribe to this. They subscribe to these platforms. But the platforms are not taxed. They are paying huge amounts of money to be on Netflix. But is Netflix paying taxes to the Ugandan government? Think about that. Already, Kenya does it. Now, beyond Kenya, many countries are adapting the digital service taxes to address revenue leakages in the digital economy. Now, the digital economy is actually, if we're talking about boosting revenue because of the data we have, we are trying to find alternative sources to fund the budget. Rather than borrowing, this could be one of the ways to actually generate the income, And of course, there is a fear that perhaps when the governments tax these services, then the services will transfer those the tax burden to the consumers in form of increased subscription prices. But of course, this comes with a negotiation. You sit down on the table and negotiate with the government to see, because this is one of the it shows you that the government of Uganda has actually been losing a lot of taxes, potential taxpayers and not actually paying the tax. Well, beyond Kenya, many countries are adapting the digital service taxes, like I said, to address revenue leakages in the digital economy. Now, India is a good example. It imposed a 6% equalization levy on online advertising revenues earned by non-resident businesses. Then we take a look at France, which also enforced a 3% DST on revenues earned by large digital companies offering services in France. Then we have United Kingdom, which introduced a 2% DST targeting the global tech companies, generating significant revenues from the United Kingdom users. Now, these taxes ensure that digital businesses pay their fair share in the jurisdiction where they profit, addressing the gaps in traditional taxation models. Very interesting, very interesting. I guess we shall have a continuation of this perhaps later at the top of the hour. Well, let's go for the break. I'll be returning with entertainment. Stick around.
Smart 24, driving business.
Are you a woman entrepreneur or a woman owning a business and looking for affordable financing to scale up your business? Look no further than the Grow Loan. Grow Loan targets female entrepreneurs nationwide. Key features include a minimum loan amount of 4 million and a maximum loan amount of 200 million shillings, a maximum interest rate not exceeding 10.5% per annum, a loan repayment period not exceeding 24 months. All Grow Loan borrowers must comply with the Grow Project environmental and social standards. Special incentives are available for borrowers that are refugees or from the refugee host communities, people living with disabilities, and women entrepreneurs from the underserved or minority groups. To apply, contact any of the 6 participating financial institutions. Contact us for more information or visit our website at www.grow.go.ug. The Grow Loan is an intervention under the Grow Project, a Government of Uganda project financed by the World Bank and implemented by the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development and the Private Sector Foundation Uganda. Grow, generating growth opportunities and productivity for women enterprises.
Okuba omusinguzi